In a couple of months, on August 10th, there is sort of an anniversary of sorts. Do not blow up the balloons or get a cake. It is the anniversary of Jeffrey Epstein's death, the day that the guards found him hanging in his cell in New York. 4 years. 4 years. If you'd asked me, I would have said last year, maybe the year before, but it's been 4 years. And now, 1,000 times that worth of documents have just dropped. 4,000 documents of information of what Jeffrey Epstein was up to and his state of mind and medical situation in those days leading up to that hanging death. And please don't throw popcorn at the screen right now. Don't email me or call me or scream out my name on Twitter. I know there's a great debate. And some would say conspiracy theory that he didn't hang himself, that someone killed him. That is not this. That's not this segment, so go to some other Twitter space on that. What I'm here to tell you about is what the guards and those who observed him saw. This is all from the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's a detailed account of his psychological well-being. It's a report, his health history, internal agency reports, emails, memos, a whole bunch of other records. Let me start with what the guards and other prison officials said they witnessed with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, the guards said he was agitated, unable to sleep, called himself a coward, and complained that he was struggling to adapt to life behind bars. 2 weeks before his death, the guards found him in the corner of his cell. He had his hands over his ears to try to muffle the sounds of his toilet, because the toilet apparently wouldn't stop running. He was already on suicide watch at the time that he died because of a suicide attempt days earlier. It apparently left his neck bruised, scraped. A jail psychologist said that Epstein himself was going on and on about how he had a wonderful life and that he'd be crazy to end it. But he at one point left a meeting with his lawyers saying he needed to call his mother. She'd been dead for 15 years, so that's odd. The medical records, those showed that he had hypertension, he had sleep apnea, lower back pain, pre-diabetes, and good old-fashioned constipation. He'd also been previously treated for chlamydia. Look at that last one. Ick. So his initial health screening says he admitted to having more than 10 sexual partners in the previous 5 years, though that's probably not accurate. He also wrote a letter to Larry Nassar, the notorious pedophile who was the former sports doctor for the USA gym team. Wow. Nassar was sentenced to hundreds of years for molesting hundreds of kids, but the letter was returned to sender, and it was found in the mailroom at Epstein's jail after he was dead. So Nassar didn't get it. Don't know why. I'm joined by somebody who knows a whole lot more about what Epstein was probably going through behind bars. Larry Levine is a former inmate himself who served time in 11 federal correctional institutions over 10 years. He is now the director of Wall Street Prison Consultants, which helps people who are about to serve time behind bars. Larry, you're the guy I thought of because with all that business of him, you know, the previous suicide, the calling his dead mother, is that level of stress any different than any other rich guy that you have counseled who finds himself in a federal lockup?
You know what, Ashley? They're all nervous. It's the unknown. They don't know what to expect. Every little noise sets them off. But what's more important is I was in 11 different facilities, and I saw staff in the BOP pencil whipping reports and paperwork. And I skimmed through these reports that came out today, and something struck me. They're too complete, and they're too accurate. And there's no way that the BOP put 4,000 pages together on a guy that had only been in there a short period of time. These people don't want to do their jobs to begin with. Look at the two guys that were asleep when he checked out. But they had time to write a complete, concise report. This is all whitewashed and pencil whipped, Ashley. This isn't real, and I've seen this before. There's a lot of irregularities here. We've all seen the pictures of his jail cell where they say they found him. Remember, they had taken him out of the SHU, the special housing unit. They took him down to the psych ward, so he was there for a few days. And when somebody leaves the SHU, they've got inmates whose entire job is to clean the cells out before someone comes back. Well, he comes back to a cell that they claimed he died or hung himself in. Maybe he did. Did you see all that stuff in that cell? He had jumpsuits and pill bottles and all kinds of crap. This guy had enough stuff in that cell. He would have had to have been there for a year. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say
Okay.
this is a cover up. Hey, people, if you did this and you want to commit a crime, bring me in next time. You can plan this a little better. The pictures
So
of
Larry,
him.
let me ask you.
Yeah.
I got to get this other story in. I got to get this other story in because his top lieutenant, Ghislaine Maxwell, is apparently now fearing for her life at the FCI Tallahassee, the Federal Correctional Institute in Tallahassee. Apparently, she got 2 other prisoners thrown into solitary for 47 days, and now apparently they want vengeance. But talk to me about this because I think you know some people. You got some inside information from the FCI Tallahassee.
I have. I've got inmates in there that have smuggled in cell phones, actually all over the country, that feed me information. She's terrified. And the 2 other, the Cuban chicks, they're sitting in the shoe right now. And I venture to say they're not going to bring them back on the main compound. They'll probably ship them. But see, her problem won't go away because now she's got a rat jacket. She's labeled as a snitch. And those Cuban women have friends that are in there. So she's going to have a rough ride of it. And I venture to say they're probably going to move her. And there's bets going on. I put $100 on somebody gets to her within about a week and assaults her. They're actually betting on the inside who's going to get to her first. So if I was her, I would be terrified. She's already got a jacket now that she cozies and leg rides the cops, as they call it. They may have to move her too. And she's not a run-of-the-mill inmate, just like Lori Vallow or Elizabeth Holmes, who could just blend into an institution. Everybody knows who she is. She's probably not sleeping. Every little noise she hears is setting her off, almost like Epstein, sort of. But this woman has a reason to fear. She should probably sleep on an upper bunk. I always wanted an upper bunk because it's harder to assault somebody from an upper bunk. And the cops, they don't like
if you get the choice. If you get the choice.
Yeah,
I have to leave it there,
choice.
but I have to have you back. You always have so much information, and I also have a couple other segments to go. So thank you for doing this. Have a great weekend. I'll see you the next time.
Okay, hon, anytime.
All right. Thanks, Larry.